Hi everybody, I'm Ryan. As we go into Wilds of Eldraine, spoiler season, and then release, and then all these cards being legal and constructed and being the primary limited format, I wanted to do a Lord of the Rings sunset. As Lord of the Rings is no longer the freshest set, I want to talk about how the limited format was, its impact on constructed, and frankly its impact on Magic culture as a whole. First off, I thought Lord of the Rings Limited was really fun. It was really a breath of fresh air after the previous format was frankly just like draft the most rares possible, and if your deck wasn't entirely bombs, then you lost. It felt like pretty much every color combination was reasonable. In fact, the best deck I ever drafted was a blue-green Scry deck, which in my opinion were some of the worst colors. I drafted red-white aggro a lot, but the best archetype in Lord of the Rings Limited was red-black. It just had the best removal, it had some of the best creatures, and was just all around amazing. I think my favorite thing about Lord of the Rings Limited as well is that you rarely died to super crazy bombs. And the only bomb that I'd roll my eyes when it was cast against me that wasn't 3-color was Witch King of Agmar, which I don't think I've ever beaten. And I think I drafted like once. Miserable. So I drafted Lord of the Rings a lot. As far as Lord of the Rings' impact on Constructed, there were a few cards that made splashes. It was legal in Constructed from Modern and older. And in Modern, Delighted Halfling made giant splashes. Any deck that was playing green, pretty much, as long as there wasn't any deck building restrictions like Living End or something like that, was playing Delighted Halfling, whether that's 4-color Omnath, whether that's Yawgmoth. And just having a 2-toughness mana dork is one thing, but also making legendary creatures uncounterable is amazing, again, especially in that Omnath deck. In addition, the One Ring made giant splashes in Modern, making Tron a tier 1 or at least high tier 2 deck, and totally shaping how 4-color Omnath is built, and frankly being played in every deck that doesn't have a deck building restriction. The One Ring also made splashes in Legacy and Vintage in Artifact Ancient Tomb decks, both as a tutor target and something that they can cast way early and draw a ton of cards, which is obviously much more powerful in Legacy and Vintage because Legacy and Vintage, each card's card quality is much higher. And Orcish Bowmasters was also a multi-format all-star, being the 2-drop that Red-Black Scam or Evoke needed in order to become the best deck in Modern, and also put decks like Yawgmoth back on the map. But Orcish Bowmasters really made it splash in Legacy. Legacy, the Brainstorm, Ponder format, Force of Will format. And while blue still reigns supreme, it is now wrong if you're playing a mid-range or tempo deck to not also play Orcish Bowmasters. And I personally feel like it has made Legacy so healthy. It has made it so you need to think before you cast your Ponder or your Brainstorm. You need to think before you reanimate Grizzlebrand and just draw 7, which, by the way, I died to once in this format. And it's made it so much more fun and so much more interesting. And then maybe the card that made the biggest impact, in my humble opinion, are the Land Cyclers. All but the white one, the Eagles are bad. But all the other Land Cyclers made giant impacts, especially in Modern. The red and green Land Cyclers are being played in Living End and making it so Living End can play much fewer lands, and thus be able to have a higher density of creatures, which means you can rebuild from Graveyard Hate much quicker. Blue decks in Modern and Legacy are playing Lorien Revealed, the blue Land Cycler. There's something that can just grab an island, put an instant/sorcery into the graveyard for like Murktide or Dragon's Rage Channeler. And the black Land Cycler, Troll of Khazad-dûn, is being played in Grief, Death Shadow decks, being something you can pitch to Grief, but also something that you can just grab your second land and then reanimate as early as turn 2. Or really as early as turn 1 if you want to like really go for it. But really, the decks that are playing it are reanimated on turn 2 after it grabs them a land. I'm one that is just one off of reanimating Troll of Khazad-dûn on turn 2, and it's so fun. The white one hasn't found a home, the white one's bad, like I said. And then as far as the Lord of the Rings sets touch on culture, is the release of a 1/1 The One Ring, which was opened by somebody in Canada who was visiting face-to-face games, and eventually sold to Post Malone. And having a 1/1, something you can dream about when you open the packs, just made it special. And seeing a 1/1 card opened by someone random and then bought by not a better person is amazing. So I personally deem Lord of the Rings a success. I have complaints about the One Ring in Modern, but other than that, I think Lord of the Rings is a total success. What are your thoughts about the Lord of the Rings set? I personally really like the Universes Beyond sets because I like playing with the characters that I enjoy in my favorite game, which is Magic. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social media. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.